MXL990 microphone. Current electric capacitor thing. And you're doing a little preamp and then putting it into the phone patch in the back. So if it's an improvement, then we know the other microphone has a problem. It probably sounds sort of flat. Doesn't have any good tones to it of any kind. Okay, I'm playing with some of the controls on the microphone too. A 20 pad in on it now, so that might sound a little better now. Well, it is awful hard to beat the audio of that 7300. You know, it's really got a nice sound to it. So we'll just have to see what we can do with this one anyway. Anywho, thanks. I'll let you or 7:30. So, WPHCXO, KAWTK. Thanks.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2392 with a release date of Friday, September 1st, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST, historic contact between two U.S. missile silos, big changes for hams in Australia, and for one parachute mobile YL, the sky is no limit. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2392 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Reporting from Shelbyville, Tennessee, here's Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
Our top story takes a page right out of history. Two United States missile silos have made radio contact with one another for the first time since the 1960s. This time, however, it was a contact between civilians. They were hams on high alert, or QSOs. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us the details.
The Atlas F missile silo in Plattsburgh, New York, possessed the kind of military readiness in the 1960s that reflected an American nation poised for war. Among those sites decommissioned by the U.S. military in 1965, one silo within a mile of the border with Canada showed a different kind of readiness on the 19th of August. On that day, the activation was for an amateur radio contact. Despite difficult band conditions, a successful QSO was logged, and it was with another deactivated missile silo, this one in Texas. Members of the Champlain Valley Amateur Radio Club originally wanted to simply test the club's equipment, but after the club learned about a ham radio test scheduled for the same day at the deactivated silo in Texas, they modified their plan. The Northern New York Club's second vice president, Matt Prey, W2UXE, told the Press Republican website that all the hams decided to try for a contact between the two silos. Their effort delivered a brief but hoped-for result. Matt's call was logged in Texas by Robert Grabowski, KB5RG, at the Downeast Air Force Base in Texas. The day presented another link to history. Dick Somerset, a retired member of the U.S. Air Force, was there in Plattsburgh. In the 1960s, he had been a launch crew member stationed at the Downeast Base in Texas, and had also worked in Plattsburgh with the silo's quality control. More than a half a century later, he was pleased to see radio contact between the two silos, this time with peace in mind. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
A launch pad in Florida has sent 3 more ham radio operators into space, as we hear from Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
3 amateur radio operators were among the 4-member crew aboard the spacecraft Endurance, as it lifted off on the 26th of August from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. The launch of the Crew 7 mission was provided by SpaceX for NASA. U.S. astronaut Jasmine Mobelli, KI-5WSL, is the commander of the mission. Pilot is Andreas Enevold Mogensen, KG-5GCZ, an ESA astronaut from Denmark. One of the 2 mission specialists is Satoshi Furukawa, KE-5DAW, of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. Satoshi is trained as a doctor in Japan, where he practiced as an anesthetist and a surgeon. The trio is joined by another mission specialist, cosmonaut Konstantin Sergeyevich Borisov of Roscosmos. This is the 8th commercial crew program launch for NASA and SpaceX. The crew is expected to be on board the International Space Station for about 190 days. This is Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
There are big changes ahead in Australia, for operators and hams have until the end of this month to share their thoughts with the regulator. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, gives us the details.
The Australian Communications and Media Authority is seeking input on the new amateur radio qualification framework it intends to have in place in December, 2 months ahead of the February date when apparatus licenses are to be replaced by the new class license structure. The new class structure will also revoke overseas class licenses and instead permit qualified amateurs visiting from overseas to operate. University of Tasmania's Australian Maritime College will no longer conduct exams or issue qualifications for the ACMA, which has said only it will manage such work itself. The authority seeks input as well on a new fee structure that includes the cost of recognition certificates and other payments associated with the license process. The regulator's website calls these proposed fees similar to those already in place. Comments are due by the 26th of September. And for a list of fees and other details, visit the link in the text edition of this week's Newsline script at arnewsline.org. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
A longtime broadcast engineer with a history of mentoring and supporting fellow amateur radio operators has become a silent key. William Culpepper, W4BZ, formerly W4PER, was devoted to amateur radio and was active in the Antique Wireless Association, the ARRL, the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and the Association of Federal Communications Consulting Engineers. On the professional side of radio, he worked with RCA, New Jersey Public Broadcasting, and a variety of consulting firms, including the one he later founded, William Culpepper and Associates. His death in July was reported on the website radioworld.com. William Culpepper was 90. In New Zealand, hams will be activating summits and remembering a devoted SOTA friend and colleague, as we hear from Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
The sudden death of Andrew White, ZL3CC, in March of 2018 was a difficult loss for many of the amateur radio friends who had come to know the Christchurch operator through summits on the air and his SOTA activation blog. New Zealand hams are especially grateful that Andrew played a big role in establishing SOTA on the South Island. On May 1st, 2016, the day the South Island officially became active in the SOTA program, Andrew wrote happily on his blog and thanked many friends on the team who helped make it happen. Many of his radio friends set aside the closest Saturday to what would have been Andrew's birthday to hold Andrew White ZL3CC Memorial Day. This year, it's on the 9th of September. It's a day of activation, summit-to-summit contacts where possible, and then fellowship at a nearby cafe, often near the Banks Peninsula summits. Operators will be able to honor Andrew and work towards the ZL3 award at the same time. It would no doubt please him to know that the South Island summits are still alive with RF. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
If you've ever used Echolink and live anywhere in the world, you're invited to a special talk in Australia by the ham who created it, and you don't have to go to the airport. John Williams, VK4JJW, gives us those details.
Jonathan Taylor, K1RFD, who developed Echolink, the voice-over Internet Protocol network for linking repeaters and amateurs, will be a guest of the Hunter Radio Group, VK2AWX, in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, on the 14th of September. Echolink has a global reach of nearly 500,000 amateur radio users. For those who can't attend the talk in person, Amateur Radio New South Wales will provide a link via Zoom, where Jonathan will deliver his talk remotely. Jonathan, a resident of Connecticut, was inducted into the CQ magazine Amateur Radio Hall of Fame in 2005. The program will take place between 1800 and 2200 Australian Eastern Standard Time. The Zoom link can be found on the AR Newsline website at www.arnewsline.org. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Whether you are an established amateur radio operator or simply thinking about becoming a ham, the doors are open to you in West Bengal as a major Indian radio convention kicks off this month. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, brings us those details.
Amateurs from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka are expected to join conference attendees from all around India when the Pan-India Radio Convention takes place in West Bengal. The nationwide event is being held by the Open Source Classes for Amateur Radio, or OSCAR, and it's opening its doors to prospective hams, as well as those who are long-time operators. A number of classes will be taught during the weekend of September 23rd and 24th, and candidates for an operator certificate will be given an opportunity to take the qualifying exam. Workshops will focus on equipment, signal propagation, digital modes, and the latest technologies. There'll also be fox hunting and CW contests. According to a post on Facebook, this is the first Pan-India amateur radio event to be held in East India in decades. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the N50ZG repeater in New Orleans, Louisiana, on Sundays at 8 p.m. Radio fans in the UK are raising their voices and a petition to convince the BBC to keep a long-standing favorite radio service. We hear about their efforts from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
A petition drive has been launched to press the BBC to reverse its plans to take its long-wave service on 198 kHz off the air by the 31st of March 2024. BBC made the announcement in May 2022 that it was closing its long-wave transmitter, describing it as a dying technology. According to the petitioners on the Change.org website, the single long-wave transmitter at Droitwich is efficient, covering most of the UK and Northern Europe. It is viewed as one of the more historic features of the BBC, and its planned shutdown would come a mere 6 months before it marked its 90 years on the air. The Change.org petitioners call it, quote, a historic radio lifeline, close quote. BBC Radio 4 has already begun a public information campaign to convince listeners to make the change from longwave to the broadcaster's other platforms. Those platforms are expected to carry many of the programs now on Radio 4 longwave, including Test Match Special, Yesterday in Parliament, Shipping Forecast, and the Daily Church Service. The BBC has been following listeners' trend towards favouring digital radio and has acknowledged on its website that a wide range of alternative listening services have become available. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Congratulations to the National Radio Astronomy Observatory on the 30th anniversary of the inauguration of one of the world's most high-precision radio telescopes, the Very Long Baseline Array of the National Science Foundation. The array of 10 radio antennas operates remotely from New Mexico and has been collecting data on galaxies, tracking black holes and pulsars movements, and looking inward at the planets in our own solar system. The array's stations have been set up in areas such as Fort Davis, Texas, Los Alamos, New Mexico, and Brewster, Washington, among other locales, all chosen for having very low levels of radio interference. In many countries, this time of year, September, means it's back-to-school season. That's true for hams, too, as we learned from Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
School is in session at the QSO Today Academy, and the virtual doors open on September 8th. The 3-day intensive learning environment is the outgrowth of 6 virtual Ham Expo conventions organized by Eric Guff, 4Z1 UG, starting in August of 2020 as the COVID-19 pandemic took hold. The Academy will feature a mix of live and pre-recorded sessions and will include a searchable library of the previous Ham Expos. Presentation topics include SOTA, the 10 worst antennas for amateur radio, how to chase the RAC Portable Operating Challenge Award, tips for purchasing a transceiver, and a discussion about the ICQ Podcast's Digital Voice Project. There are additional sessions on antennas, operating aids, and not surprisingly, even AI gets mentioned in the virtual classroom. Participate in any of the live presentations from anywhere in the world. Tuition is $15, and for details, visit QSOTodayHamExpo.com. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
In the world of DX, be listening for Greg N9GB operating holiday style as 8P9GB from Barbados, IOTA number NA021, from the 8th to the 15th of September. He will be on 60 through 10 meters and possibly 6 meters. During the local afternoon hours, he will be on SSB. In the evenings, he will operate on CW. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Listen for Harold, DF2WO, operating as D44TWO from Santiago, IOTA number AF005, Cape Verde from the 2nd to the 17th of September. He will be using CW, SSB, and FT8 on the HF bands and 6 meters. He will also operate via the QO100 satellite. See QRZ.com for QSL details. The special call sign VI7ALARA is active on the HF bands until the 8th of November, commemorating the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association's meeting to be held in Hobart, Tasmania. The call sign is being operated by a number of YLs in Tasmania and throughout Australia. See QRZ.com for more details. Be listening as well for Amateur Radio Newsline's own Ed, DD5LP, operating as 5B/VK2JI from the island of Cyprus, IOTA number AS004, from the 11th to the 16th of September. Ed will be operating low-power SSB, mostly on 40 and 20 meters. holiday style. He hopes to activate a number of SOTA and HEMA summits as well as POTA parks. QSL to his home call. We end this week's report with a love story. We ask, just how far would you leap for someone you love? And would you remember to take along your radio? Jim Dameron, N8TMW, tells us how one woman answered those questions at the Huntsville Ham Fest.
The first time Renee, KR5SIX, fell for Fern, KV5SIX, was more than 22 years ago. The two native Texans, spirited adventure seekers, discovered they were on the same frequency. They eventually married, had travel adventures together, and returning home after a stay in Guatemala, they embraced more adventure by becoming amateur radio operators. Just a few weeks ago, Renee fell for her husband all over again, but this time it was at Skydive, Alabama during the Huntsville Ham Fest. To be precise, Renee fell 14,000 feet from an airplane going 130 miles an hour. Accompanying her on the earthbound trip, her first ever, was an HT tuned to 2 meters and veteran ham radio skydiver and family friend Carlos Felix, KD9OLN. Jumping in tandem, Carlos was helping her fulfill her husband's dream. Fern had hoped one day to complete his 15th parachute mobile mission, but serious injuries in a fly fishing accident more than 3 years ago ended that plan. Encouraged recently by other YouTube channel creators at a party in Huntsville, Renee told Vern, "I'll do it for you." In fact, Vern was the first of the 3 radio contacts she made. Her next mission, training with Carlos to prepare to jump solo in Dayton, just in time for Hamvention 2024. Meanwhile, you can see Renee's parachute mobile in the video on their YouTube channel, What's Up with 6. She's smiling the whole way down. Carlos told Newsline, "That smile is one of the most radiant smiles I've seen in skydiving." This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. We are not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website, and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, the BBC, Carlos Felix, KD9OLN, Change.org, CQ Magazine, David Baer, K7DB, DebbieDiscourse.com, 425DX News, Facebook, FCC, National Science Foundation, Press Republican, QRZ.com, QSO Today, Radio Today, Radio World, Shortwave Listening Post, shortwaveradio.de, Sun Community News, Vern 6, KV5SIX, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Skeeter Nash, N5ASH in Shelbyville, Tennessee, saying 7-3. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
W8WKY, time out. the weekly Serenette, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes. Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, she's so excited when she says 1. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is W8WKY calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Club Net. My name is Dave, and my personal call is NT8D, November Tango 8 Delta, and I will be your net control operator for this evening and doing business as W8WKY. We meet on this repeater every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., and we encourage all amateurs to participate. This is a control net, and all traffic must pass through net control. As always, priority and or emergency traffic may break into this net at any time. Tonight we'll take some in and out traffic followed by regular check-ins, and we've got Eric at W8ELM as our master of trivia this evening. Just have a quick announcement here before we get started. This year's annual Sarah Family Picnic will be held on Sunday, September 17th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This year the picnic will be held in the shelter at the Wadsworth Eagles. This event is for Sarah Club members and their families. Sarah will provide the main course of burgers, hot dogs, and sausage. Sarah members are asked to bring a side dish to share and drinks for themselves and their families. The meal will begin promptly at 2 p.m. The Wadsworth Eagles is located at 9953 Rittman Road in Wadsworth. Please go to the W8WKY.org website and sign the RSVP form so we know how much food to prepare. Let me break for any other announcements before I start taking check-ins.
This is WO3X with an announcement.
WO3X, John, I've got you for an announcement, and I've also putting you on the log. Go ahead, WO3X, W8WKY.
Okay, usually the second Wednesday of the month is the business meeting for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, but this month we are going to have an operation in the field on the second Wednesday, and then we'll have our business meeting on the fourth Wednesday of September. But regarding the CTTF, which is CFARC to the field, that's September 13th, and it goes from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That's the reason, one of the reasons why we made it earlier, because the sun sets earlier. It's actually 20 minutes earlier on the fourth Wednesday compared to the second Wednesday. Okay, so anybody can join this operation, and if you go to www.cfarc and click on the spot where it says CTTF, it opens up a page, and so that's the front page, and then scroll down to the third page, and there's a bunch of resources.
W8WKY.
Okay, before you submit a submission form, go to the activations link to see what all has been chosen, and at this time you will see that Wood Hollow, O'Neill Woods, Silver Springs lot and Monroe Falls Metro Park have been chosen. So then go to Park Entity List and choose one of those. There's numerous entities there. Choose one of those to operate from and make a note of what it's named and its abbreviation and the type, and then fill out a submission form, and then you will be all set to operate at that site that day. Now, there are other resources which include a log sheet, and there's what Anthony is calling the cheat sheet, which has the bands and modes that and frequencies in those bands that we will be operating on. So check that out and maybe print that out, set your radio up for operation like that, and then make contacts. And if you make at least 5 contacts and you submit a log, then you will be entered in a random drawing for a $50 gift certificate at DX Engineering. So take a look at that website, CTTF, and sign up for that. The valid directions of contacts are home to park, park to park, park to home, but not home to home. With that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
All right, thanks a lot there, John. I'm going to mark you in on the regular check-in side of the log, and are there any other announcements before I start taking check-ins?
KB8VYT.
KB8VYT, good evening, Russ. I will suppose I will put you down on the regular side of the check-ins as well, but go ahead with your announcement.
Just wanted to thank everybody who showed up for the Rubber Ducks game Saturday night, even though they lost. Story of my life. We had a total of 16 tickets sold, and I think 12 or less showed up. I don't know everybody in the club, so I had a hard time keeping count. So everybody that showed up had a good time, saw a good fireworks show, and maybe we'll try it again in the spring. So that's all I have. KB8VYT, and you can just put me in and out because I'm about ready to go to bed.
All right there, Russ. We'll move you to the other side of the log there, and thanks for the report on the baseball game. Hope everybody had some fun, even though they lost. Very first ball game I went to, my dad took me when I was a kid. Indians lost 4-3 to the Yankees in 14 innings. We didn't get out of there till 11 o'clock, and my dad was so sweet, he stayed till the very end with me. How about that? All right, let's go ahead and start taking check-ins for the WAWKY Sarah Tuesday Night Club Net. Let's take any new check-ins, new hams, anybody who hasn't been here before, please call first. We're doing in and out check-ins first, in and out only.
Here at 8 Sir Bottle Sir, Martin Wadsworth.
Thank you. You got you there, Mark. In and out check-ins, let's just take them in. In and out check-ins for the Tuesday Night Club Net, please go.
Kilo Delta 8 Echo Papa Charlie KD8 EPC Dustin and Medina, in and out.
Whiskey Delta 8 Lima Alpha, I'll be in and out. AB8OU Zeke Coventry.
Kilo Alpha
Mike November Tango, Tom in Canton, in and out.
No traffic. And hello, Dave, and 73s, and much blessings to all. Enjoy the net.
Kilo Bravo 8, Victor Hotel Mike, Tom in Green, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Lima Bravo, KE8 TLB. I'll be in and out, and 73, my friends.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Doug and Ripman, in and out.
November 8, Echo India, Jason Morton, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, India, Mike Echo, David, Sterling, Ohio, in and out.
All right, I'm going to pick it up here. On the in and out list, I have VYT, SFS, EPC, LLA, Oscar Uniform, MNT, Victor Kilo, VHM, TLB, JNH, Echo India, and IME. Did I miss anybody or any others? Please call.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, WV3K, Phil in Canal Fulton.
KSFQD, I'll be in it. I don't know, you're doing in and out right now, Dave, or are you doing everything, KSFQD?
W8WKY Club Net. Regular check-ins, please call.
NTAD, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG, Nick in Orville.
Bravo, KE8, UIB, John in Massillon.
Kilo Charlie 8. Kilo Charlie 8, Echo Yankee, Dave in East Sparta.
Good evening, Dave, and everyone on the net. Kilo Echo 8, Echo Hotel Golf Mobile. If you're doing regular check-ins, check me in.
All right, so far on my list, I have W03X, KD8SLG, KE8UIB, KC8EUI, and KE8EHG, calling for regular check-ins for the W8WKY Tuesday Night Club Net.
Sir, I tried before and it must not work.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Echo 8, Victor Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX, Joe in Akron.
Kilo Golf 4, Sierra Charlie Kilo, Mark Copley.
W8WKY.
Kilo Charlie 8, Hotel Delta Papa, KC8, HDP, Jerry in Shreve.
All right, I'm going to pick it up. There's one that I missed. I did copy FQV, VQX, SCK, and HDP. The first call is low audio, staticky. The prefix was a KE8, and then I could not get the rest of it. So the first person who was trying to check in, kind of quiet. Try it again. I don't think that was John. Kilo Echo 8 uniform. Am I copying that right so far?
Roger that. Kilo Echo 8 uniform. Lima Alpha. Leo Go. Right on.
That's KEAULA, Leo and Stowe. This is WO3X.
WO3X, KEAULA, on my name is Taiwan. I just wanted to see if I could make this here. KEAULA.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I didn't have him on my personal list there. I'm going to have to add that. All right, any other check-ins before we get Eric in here with our trivia question for tonight? Any other regular check-ins for the Sarah ClubNet? Please call. All right, nothing heard. Let's get Eric in here. W8ELM. What's our wonderful trivia question for tonight? W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is W8ELM. Good evening to you, Dave, and everybody on the net. We've got a short one tonight. Hiram Percy Maxim gave his rotary spark gap transmitter, still on display at ARRL headquarters, which of the following nicknames? Again, Hiram Percy Maxim gave his rotary spark gap transmitter, still on display at ARRL headquarters, which of the following nicknames? Here are your choices. A, Alpha, Sparky Sputters. B, Bravo, Whirring Willie. C, Charlie, Chatter Champ. Or D, none of these. Again, your choices are A, Sparky Sputters, B, Whirring Willie, C, Chatter Champ, or D, none of these. Back to net.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. I just don't know what to think about that one. All right, I'm just going to start it off and take letter D, Delta, to get that one out of the way. I'm interested in hearing the answer. I'm going to go to the top of the list here of our regular check-ins because if I give my answer after him, I might cheat and follow him. WO3X, John. Good evening. Tell us a little bit about your start of your week and what do you have for an answer for Eric?
Let's see, Dave. I think I'm going to go along with you on that D Delta. None of these. Let's see. Yeah. Last week, I was operating WO3X as W1AW/8, and mostly on, well, actually only on 80 meters and 160 meters. And then yesterday, during the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club W8VPV Band Exploration Net, we operated W8VPV as W1AW/8 on 6 meters, 80 meters, and 160 meters and made 17 contacts as W1AW/8. So that was pretty good. Was a lot of fun there, and that W1AW/8 just ended here at 8 o'clock. So, okay, yeah, I mentioned D Delta, none of these for the trivia question. So with that, back to the net. W8WKY, this is W03X.
All right, terrific there, John. Got you down for D Delta, and that sounds like a lot of fun doing the W1AW, their work, and I'm glad you were able to make so many contacts, and it sounds like a great time. I think a couple of folks took advantage of that. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for sharing all the activities over on the other side of town there. Next up, stand by. Oh, let me get KE8EHG in here mobile while we got him. I don't know where he was going, and then stand by there, Nick. We'll get right back to you. KE8EHG from W8WKY.
Good evening, Dave. Good evening, everyone on the net. Boy, I have no clue. I think I don't know. I'm going to pick C. Let's go with Charlie. If you don't know the answer, you always go with C. So let's pick Charlie. Let's see what happens there. So 7-3s. Everyone stay safe. And, I might have heard KG8RRY, Jerry, trying to check in the in and outs, but I'm not sure. Sounded like his voice, so just thought I'd throw that out. KE8EHG, back to net.
All right, thanks a lot there, Mike. Appreciate that. KE8RRY, are you out there? Nothing here. Let's get back to Nick, KD8SLG. I hope you're doing well today there, Nick. Missed you yesterday. Got me a little bit worried. I wanted to brag to you. I went to a picnic on Sunday, and one of the guests brought a bottle of Casa Azul to share. Oh, it was so nice. KD8SLG and W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Dave. And all the club netizens out there tonight. Good to hear everybody out there. Start with trivia before I forget. I'm going to go with Bravo. That's my choice tonight. Put me down for B, Bravo. And that sounds like a good time, Dave. Nothing like a shared bottle of Casa Azul Reposada. No doubt. Yeah, they missed me Sunday night on the Beacon net as well, I'm told. And Monday morning I missed the barometer net. I know it's so rare for me to not be somewhere. But I went out on a little bit of an adventure there Sunday, and it ran well into Monday. So there you go. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And I'll be on the barometer net dark and early tomorrow at the ungodly hour of 7 a.m., so stop by and say hi whenever you wake up. This is KD8SLG, back to net control.
W8WKY.
All right there, Nick. Well, it does sound like you probably had a good time. I'm glad you are back and safe and sound. We did finish off that bottle, by the way. And I will be checking in with you in the morning. Get a good evening's rest if you can. Next up, we have John, KE8UIB. Good evening. Tell us about the start of your week, and what would your answer to Eric's question be?
TAT from KE8UIB. Good evening, Dave. Everybody out on the net. Trivia question. Nobody's taken A yet, so I'll just go ahead and put me down for Alpha. We'll just make that simple. The start of my week, let me see. Even though it's Tuesday, it really feels like a Monday. It just seems like a Monday. First day of the week, back to work, especially after a long weekend, is always never fun. But we do what we got to do so we can all live that $5 dream a nickel at a time. But with that, at least it's, well, it ain't even really cooling down much, guys. It's still 76 degrees outside. So I hope everybody's staying cool and having a good evening. With that, this is K8UIB. I'll hand this back over to Net Control. 7-3, y'all.
Thanks a lot there, John. I'm going to do my best, and Ron would be proud of you, KD8CVS. He would make sure that all the letters got picked, whether he liked the answer or not. That was he made sure every answer got picked if he could. So if there was one hanging out there, he would grab it. So Ron would be proud of you there, John. You have a terrific evening, and we'll listen to you in the mornings. Be safe on your way to work. And I don't know if that means there's no Friday this week. I don't know how that works. Take care, and hopefully tomorrow feels like a Wednesday. Dave, KC8EEY, you're up next, and then stand by, Leo. KC8EEY, WAWKY.
Good evening to the net. I'm glad to hear my old friend Eric out there. Kind of a weird trivia question. I'm going to say, I believe D, none of the above, and that's my final answer. As for me, I've been enjoying 10 meters most of the day. It was pretty much wide open. Enjoyed a few contacts down into, well, of course, Puerto Rico and down into Brazil, different places like that. California was coming in here real strong. So 10 meters is beginning to open up and sounding good. What I'm doing around here tomorrow, I think I'm going to start my project of building a hex beam, multi-band, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have that up. Okay, we'll say 73 and turn it back to the net. This is KC8EEY.
All right there, Dave. Wishing you the very best of luck with that, and glad you had some fun playing 10 meters today. Glad the band treated you well. I spent most of the day working on my August bookkeeping that didn't get done because of the holiday, so we got mostly caught up, and then ready to do the net there. So you have a terrific week. Be safe, and thanks for checking in with us tonight. K8ULA, Leo, good evening. Thanks for joining us. How was your Tuesday, and what's your answer for Eric's question?
Thanks. This is KE8ULA. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I missed the trivia question. I was out in the backyard. This is my first time on the net, by the way. So I was out in the backyard with my HT, and I heard the net and thought I'd jump on if y'all don't mind. So I missed the net. I'm on the mobile rig now, parked in the driveway. Not much going on here. I just wanted to make contact with the net for the first time and wish everyone 73s, KE8ULA.
All right there, Leo. Well, stand by a second. If there are folks waiting to check into the net here at the end of the list, pay attention now. I'm going to request that Eric go ahead and reread the trivia question. I think it's a fun one, and it's not particularly long. So if you're going to check in later, grab the question now if you can. W8ELM, would you please bring us the question one more time? This is W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is W8ELM. Here it is. Hiram Percy Maxim gave his rotary spark gap transmitter, still on display at ARRL headquarters, which of the following nicknames? A. Alpha, Sparky Sputters. B. Bravo, Whirring Willie. C. Charlie, Chatter Champ, or D, Delta, none of these?
All right, thank you very much, Eric. I know which answer I like, but I'm sticking with the one I gave you. Leo, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Whirring Willie, I think it was. That's my best guess. Anyway, KE8ULA.
All right, thanks there, Leo. We got you down for B, Bravo. And Dave, I didn't mark down your answer, KC8EEY. Did you give it to me, or did I just forgetfully not write it down?
You've got selective hearing just like my wife does. I did give it to you. I said D, Delta, none of the above.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Joe, stand by. We got Mark here up next, KC8FQV. Good evening, Mark. What do you have for the club tonight, and what's your answer for Eric's question?
All right, Dave. KCFK. I'm going to say D for Dave, I think. And, yeah, it was a warm one today. Yeah, amazing how limbs and trees decide they're going to grow where you don't want them. Well, they're growing into the driveway, so, well, guess what they get? They get chopped. So, other than that, can't believe it's already into September, the 5th already, going to the 6th. But other than that, hopefully Nick's doing good. Hopefully Nick was able to hear the net this afternoon while he was doing his going to the doctor. It was torture. I guess some people say it could be called the torture chamber. But hopefully they didn't do too bad with them. So we'll send it back to net. KCFTV.
All right there, Mark. Well, I am sure you'll get a chance to talk to Nick tomorrow because I think he's doing a trifecta. Barometer, boredom breaker, and beacon tomorrow. So he got a full day. We'll try to check in with you tomorrow, Nick. You have a good one. Joe, KE8VQX, you're up next. Stand by, Mark and Copley. But Joe, good evening. What do you have for the net tonight, and what do you think the answer to Eric's question is?
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. Hello, Dave, and everyone on the net. Glad to hear everyone. So, let's see. Today I put together the ARRL NFED half-wave transformer. If I string that thing up and it doesn't catch fire with 100 watts going through it, I'll be very delighted. I was a music major after all. Anyway, as far as the trivia question goes, I'm going to go with B, Bravo. I think the key part of the question there was the rotary gap thingy. Anyway, that's what I've got. So B, Bravo, and hope everyone has a nice night. Glad to be here. This is KE8VQX, back to net.
All right there, Joe. Hey, before I pick up Mark, what was your major in music?
Music performance, trumpet player, KE8VQX.
All right, great. Well, just in case, I'll throw it out there. The big band I play with wouldn't mind having another player probably. So if you're interested in big band jazz, get in touch with me. We could probably find a seat for you. We rehearse over in the falls. Mark, you're up here next. KG4SCK. Good evening, neighbor. What do you have for us tonight? What's your answer for Eric?
Hey, good evening, Dave and Eric and everyone, club members and all. Been absent for a week. Haven't got to play on the radio, so it is really nice to be back in Ohio with the mic in my hand. And with that, really good question. I love the names, Sparky Sputters, Whirling Willie, and Chatterchamp, but I'm going to go with none of the above. Those are some really good names, but I'm just going to go with D. KG4SEK, back to net control.
Yeah, Roger, Mark. Yeah, I just want to hear if he came up with something even better than that. Well, welcome back. Glad you're safe, and we'll look forward to chatting with you here down the road. We're going to be here at the bottom of the list, so if you'd like to check in, stand by. We got KC8HDP. Good evening, Jerry. I hope you had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And what's your answer for Eric's question tonight?
Well, good evening, Dave. Good to hear you on the net in the evening. And Eric, a great question as always. Better do that answer before I forget. I'll go with Alpha, Sparky Sputters. It's probably too obvious, but you never know. Like to say welcome to KE8ULA, Leo. Welcome to the Sarah Club Net. Don't be a stranger. Drop in any time. And let's see, what else? Oh, Mark, I'm glad I didn't tromp on Mark this week, so that was a good thing, too. Yeah, I had a quiet weekend and planned to stay at home, and I did. Just had a quiet weekend at home. So don't really have anything else for the net, so I'm going to send it back to you, Dave. W8WKY in the net from KC8HDP 73.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. And, yeah, I'm kind of a similar mind this weekend in that quiet is nice. And we kind of aimed for that as well. So nice to chat with you for a moment. You have yourself a terrific week. I'm at the bottom of the list. Is there anyone else who'd like to check into the Sarah Club Tuesday Night Net? Please call W8WKY.
Alpha 8, Charlie, Sierra. This is Gary in Fairlawn.
I got you, Gary. Anybody else?
N8WS, Phil in New London.
Gotcha, Bill. We're up to 26. Anybody else?
AC3, QND, Jeannie here in North Ridgeville.
KC3QND, we got you as well. You got slot 27. Any other check-ins for the Sarah Club Tuesday Night Net? Please call. All right, nothing heard. Eric, I'm just going to have you do one more time because it is short and I want to hear the names again. Would you, for our three later check-ins, give it one more time, and then we'll get this thing wrapped up here in a few minutes. Go ahead, Eric, please.
Absolutely, Dave. Here it is. Hiram Percy Maxson gave his rotary spark gap transmitter still on display at ARRL headquarters, which of the following nicknames? A, Alpha, Sparky Sputters, B, Bravo, Whirring Willie, C, Charlie, Chatterchamp, or D, Delta, none of these? Back to net.
All right, thank you once again there, Eric. All right, so for the newcomers, we have a new rule just for you. When you answer the question, you can't just give me a letter. You have to give me the name because I want to hear you say it. AA8CS, our beloved president. How are you? Do you have anything for the club? And what's your answer for Eric?
Good evening, Dave and Sarah and friends. Yeah, wow. Eric does such a great job with these questions, and what an interesting, very trivial question. Yes, and that's what makes it good. So I really tried to get in on the first round, Dave, but I think I got covered up by somebody. It must have been Dan. Which is good. I'm glad I'm the one that gets dusted off. Anyway, so I'm thinking about these questions, or the question and the answers. Sparky sputters. Well, spark gap, that is way, way, way too obvious. Whirling Willie, well, it's a rotary spark gap transmitter, right? So it would whirl, and a little Whirling Willie would be a little bit of alliteration. That would work. Chatter Champ, again, alliteration. But here's the deal about C. We know Eric, and we know that he is out to disprove Shorter's postulate. So I'm thinking, nah, probably not. Letter D, why waste a great question on none as the distractor? Huh? Kind of creepy, isn't it? So here's my that was my evaluation. So here's my answer. A, too obvious. C, nah, that ain't gonna happen. D, well, I wouldn't doubt that Eric would pull something like that. But I'm gonna go with B, Whirling Willie, because that's the only one that my logic, and you know my logic is impeccable. It's got to be it. Let me grab let's see, how does, oh man, I need a quick nickel. All right, last thing, Dave, I was amazed. You guys had a whole bottle of Casa Azul, and there's no doubt in my mind that you did not finish it. So, yeah, there you go. That is some good stuff. So, I'm jealous. Let me put it that way. All right, that's all I got. 73, everyone. Have just a terrific rest of the evening, and we'll talk again to everyone down the log. As a matter of fact, maybe Thursday and Friday on the Barometer Net. With that, back to you, Dave. W8WKY, AA8CF.
All right there, Gary. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a pretty good-sized party, but there was only a fraction of us who were enjoying the tequila. So I think I ended up with 4 decent-sized shots throughout the evening. Very, very pleasant evening, to say the least. Looking forward to seeing you soon. 17th is the picnic, everybody. I'll remind everybody at the end here. But Bill is up here next in AWS. Good evening, Bill. Thanks for checking in with us. How was your Labor Day weekend, and what do you have for an answer? Remember, I need the name, not the letter.
NCAT and the group NAWS. Good evening, Dave. Good evening, all in net. And Gary, stick around listening. Actually, Dave, I'm not interested in the trivia question. Sorry about that, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I don't particularly care for it. I do have some information about Russ and Gary. I tried to look for an email address for you and couldn't find any, so if you'll drop me an email at nhaws@arrl.net, I'll send along the information from his wife, Sandy. That goes for you too, Dave, if you want the information, or anybody else for that matter. Drop me an email, nhaws@arrl.net, and I'll send the information along. So, okay, I'll stand by and listen. I'm kind of now you got me kind of curious to see what the answer is. Back to you, Dave. NTAT in the group 73 NHWS.
Break.
Hey, Bill, I knew you cared down deep. You just didn't want to say so. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, Bill. I talked to Sandy this past week, and there was a person, maybe you know who the Seven Hills police chief was, whose first name is Bob. He's a ham radio operator, and he was the police chief in Seven Hills, belongs to Nor's, and he was a really, really good friend of Russ's, and Sandy can't get in touch with him. So if you or anybody else who's listening to this transmission knows the call of Bob, who was the police chief in Seven Hills, I would really like to hear from you, and so would Sandy. Okay, with that, back to net, AA8CS.
Comment.
Go direct there, Bill.
Yeah, okay, Gary, I do know Bob, W8OOT, and his son-in-law. We used to be on the Russ and Johnny show. Actually, it started out with Russ and Johnny. It was every night. And I'm looking for their email addresses, but like you, they don't post to my QRZ, so I'm going to be listening for them on the radio. I'll get a hold of them and have them drop me an email. And it's his call. Whiskey 8 Oscar Tango, W8OOT, and yeah, his name is Bob. Back to you, Net, NHWS.
All right, very good, gentlemen. Thanks very much. I'll drop you a quick email here shortly, dear Bill. Let's get KC3QND. Good evening, Jenny. How are you? And how was your Labor Day? What answer do you have for Eric?
Well, it sounded like Squiggly Wiggly and Little Bo Peep and Jack and the Beanstalk. So I'm going to go with D, none of the above, because I don't even know what that thing is. It's in the ARRL museum. It's probably as old as I am. That's probably why. And I wasn't into ham radio when I was into CB. So I don't know what that thing is. I probably would if I concentrate on it, but just hearing about it, I don't know what it is. So I'm going to go with D and play it safe. None of the above with the Squiggly Wigglies and Jack and the Beanstalk and Little Bo Peep. And I don't know what those things were. Anyway, my Labor Day weekend was okay. Pete and I have been busy here working on the deck, and that's about all we've been doing, and enjoying this beautiful weather while we still have it, because I'm a warm weather person. I like warm. I don't like being cold. Chill, little bit cool's fine, but I don't like cold. And if it gets below 70, to me, it's cold. So I'm going to stick with these 90s as long as I can. If I could bottle it, I would. So that's about all I have. Hello to everybody on the net. And about that email, Bill, if you can't find that email address for Bob, Carl might have it. Or it might be in the roster on our website if he belongs to our group there at Nor's. Well, with that was my 2 cents worth. 73, everybody. This is KC3QND, Jeannie, and I'm going to be on a third group tomorrow night on the 146-700 if anybody wants to join me. So with that, 73, everybody, have a wonderful, safe, wonderful, warm evening.
All right there, Jeannie. Well, you enjoy the warm weather you can. I'll tell you, my sweet spot is right between 70 and 76, 75, somewhere around there. And then sleeping weather, it can go down into the lower 60s for sleeping weather. That's nice. I don't mind throwing out a blanket to have some sweet dreams. So, but be safe. Thanks for checking in, and we'll listen for you in the other nets throughout the week. Take care of yourself. That brings us to the bottom of our list. We have 27 check-ins here tonight, and we're going to call in Eric, W8ELM, to find out which is this wonderful nickname. I think it's in the list too, but I just had to go. I couldn't pick one. Eric, W8ELM, W8WKY, over to you.
All right, thanks again, Dave. And this is W8ELM, and we had 6 correct answers tonight. I'm really hurt that Bill wasn't interested in the question, but it sounds like he kind of changed his mind a little bit. So the correct answer was D, none of these. And W03X John, KC8EEY, my buddy Dave, KC8FQV Mark, KG4SCK Mark, and KC3QND Jeannie. I hope I got everybody. And before we end this show, since the correct answer was none of the above, what did he call his rotary spark gap transmitter? Let's see if anybody thinks they have the right answer.
Comment.
Go direct there, Gary.
Oh, no. Okay, my guess about the name is rotary spark gap transmitter. I think that's what he called it. And Eric, I gotta tell you, really, man, I have newfound admiration for your test creation abilities. Fabulous job tonight. And I'm curious as to what he actually did call it. Anyway, back to net. W8WKY AAHCS. Another fabulous job, Eric.
I got to agree there, Gary. I thought there had to be something better than what the list was, but please, we're chomping at the bit here, Eric.
I'm still going to wait for somebody that thinks they might know what it is. One more try.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo.
He's back. Whiskey 3 Victor Kilo. Please go ahead there, fellow.
Well, I'll entertain you with something that I have learned about him a long time ago, but he called it, he gave it kind of like a girl's name or something like that, old Betsy or something. Anyway, there's a lot of neat, interesting factoids about a maxim that's made a lot of really good stories and make it interesting to see that there's more human person involved than just simply a brilliant mind at work. But he's a fascinating person. The history of him is just absolutely amazing. So I'll just throw that out there, and hopefully that brings some delight to some. And if I'm wrong, why, teach me a new lesson. Back to net control. WV3K. Thanks, Dave.
All right, no problem. Any other free-form guesses? Please throw it out there now.
This is W03X. I'll go along with that old Betsy name.
All right, is that satisfactory, Eric?
Well, Phil wins the prize since he had it first, but John also had it correct. Old Betsy. Hiram Percy Maxim has done wonderful things, or did wonderful things for amateur radio over the years. Apparently, though, he was not too creative when it came to the nicknames, because he did call his rotary spark gap transmitter Old Betsy. And that nickname is shared by things like Davy Crockett's rifle, Caterpillar's diesel prototype D9900, and the first Dodge automobile. So thanks everybody for participating tonight, and I'm going to turn it back to Net. Dave, you did a wonderful job. W8WKY from W8ELM.
Thank you very much there, Eric. The nickname of one of my bases is actually Bessie without the T. My mom always thought it was Betsy, but no, it's always been Bessie. So before we wrap up tonight's net, are there any additional comments, announcements, questions, rechecks, anything for the good of the party? Please call now.
WO3X with another announcement.
All right, I got you there, John. Let me see if there's a short list or not here. Anybody else besides John want to contribute or add anything before we wrap it up? Please give me a call.
Hey, Fox Quebec, I just want to know the name. I was working, so I couldn't hear them exactly. KCFQB.
The answer was Old Betsy there, Mark. Old Betsy was the answer. Any other announcements or anything for the good of the net after John?
Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo. Hey, I just wanted to tell everyone hi. Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo, back to Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee.
All right, we got you on the log there, Mike. Thanks very much. You have a terrific rest of your week. All right, John, WO3X, please go ahead with your announcement.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. The day after the CFARC to the field, there is a volunteer exam session. That's Thursday, September 14th. The test starts at 6:30. It's at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. You have to pre-register for it and make sure that you have your FRN. So go to www.cfarc. Up the top is the word education. Click on that, and in the middle of the screen is a big yellow rectangle. Click on that and register for the exam. It will be a Laurel exam, so there's no fee there. There's just the FCC fee, which you deal with them about that. So, again, that's September 14th. That's Thursday. 6:30 p.m. is the starting test time at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. The website here, our Cuyahoga Falls website, Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club website, shows the address as 3rd Street. And there is an entrance on 2nd Street also, so you can go in either way. With that, back to the net, this is WO3X.
All right, thanks very much, John. Again, appreciate you sharing information across the area here. Nice to get things kind of integrated. I think that was part of our last board meeting, by the way, is moving more and more in that direction. So Thank you. Please keep us posted. I also want to thank everybody who participated in tonight's net. It's your participation that makes the club and the community a success. Please remember to join us. Remember to RSVP at the WAWKY.org website for the September 17th Sarah Family Picnic. And we will have our regular business meeting on the third Thursday of the month. Both events happen at the Eagles on Rittman Road in Wadsworth. I also want to thank Marty for the tower and all the people who keep the equipment running so well and make everything possible. We had 28 check-ins this evening. Please join Nick tomorrow morning on the Barometer Net at the ungodly hour of 7 a.m. I want to say 73 to everybody and return this repeater, WAWKY, back to normal amateur radio use. 73, thank you all very much. Have a terrific evening.
I missed the answer. KE8EHG.
The answer tonight was Old Betsy. Old Betsy. Had nothing to do with alliteration or electronics at all.
So the answer was D, then none of the above, correct?
That is correct.
This darn Ouija board, I'm going to throw it out. Thanks, Dave. KE8EHG, have a good evening.
Oh, it's been so long since I pulled out one of those, and they can't spell anyways. It sounds like you're mobile, so be safe, and thanks for being in on the net tonight. 73, TAD.
Well, as for me, I am a well of wisdom. But I know that as a well of wisdom, I'm the only man that I know that can go so deep and come up so dry. This is KC8EEY. But I think you have the answer right.
Now, it reminds me of a good old song, Leonard Skinner, I Know a Little, KE8EHG.
W8WKY. KPC is listening on 39.
W8WKY.
What are you listening for, Dustin? 88 SLG.
Who? AAHCS.
Oh, there goes the neighborhood. Well, good evening, Nick. Good evening, Gary. Good to hear you both out there. Nick, it's been a while. I don't think I've talked to you since last Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't like you anymore. We've talked since then, man, or we've at least texted since then. That we'll get to spend some quality time together tomorrow there, Dustin. Don't you worry. Over to you, Gary.
Let me think about that for a second. Quality time with Dustin. Are we sure? Is that something like military intelligence? Inquiring minds want to know. Over to you, Dustin.
I would say you hit the nail on the head there, Gary. Quality time with me. That kind of sounds like pulling teeth. I don't even want to spend time with me, hi. And, yeah, we have text there, Nick, but I haven't heard you on the air in a while, so it's good to hear you. And, Gary, I heard you, oh boy, Sunday night, check into the Sunday night edition of the Beacon Net, so there you go. Not a lot going on here this evening, just figured I'd fire up the radio and see what was going on.
Excuse me, jumbo shrimp. That's another one. Well, excuse me again. I'm mad at all of you BeaconNet guys for not checking into my club net on Tuesday night. So, that Sunday night was payback for that. Oh, Gary, go.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I would say that is a classic oxymoron. I think the word oxymoron is kind of an oxymoron. I mean, think about that word for a second. Oxymoron. Wow. You could do great things with that. Anyway, that's enough of that. But, Dustin, yeah, quality time, I can only hope. I can only hope. How about Dave indulging with some Casa Azul over the weekend? That just made me jealous, as a matter of fact. Take it, Dustin, AAHCS.
All right, thank you there, Gary. Well, I missed out on the comments during the net. I had to step away and go out and speak with my neighbor for a few minutes. She was outside messing around in the garden. So, yeah, that's all I've got going on here. Man, I'll tell you what, I could go for a good drink right about now, or 5. So that's the story there. There was something else I was going to say, but for the life of me, I don't remember what it was. But we will have fun tomorrow there, Nick. The Boredom Breaker Net in the afternoon, and then the Beacon Net in the evening. Should be good times there. And I'm sorry I missed your club net, Nick. I miss most of them. You should know that by now. Usually the only one I make is when it's my turn. So that's a story with that one. Geez, I don't remember what it was I was going to say. My brain is kind of mush. So Nick, take it away.
KD8 SLG returning, not coughing this time. The only nets worth going to are the nets that can't start without you. That's my new axiom for life. What do you think, Gary? Yeah, I'd like I wouldn't mind a cocktail either, but geez, if I start now, it'll be like 3 a.m. until I really get going, and then the barometer net's right there, and you got to be fully functional and half aware to run the barometer net, right, Gary?
Oh, yeah, anybody that can make the B net, I'm telling you, the B net, take your pick. Oh, man. Yeah, good stuff tonight. Eric's question was fabulous. Old Betsy. I mean, come on. You name your shotgun that, right? Anyway, I thought it was fun. And Eric does a great job with the questions. He is superb. Let's see, what else is going on? I was texting with Jason a little bit while the net was going on. We talking about we want to get this thing with Scott on the books and see if we can pull that off. That might be helpful. I did get Scott's brochure or campaign propaganda. I guess that's what it actually is. Gosh, I didn't know that it was that kind of intense. That was a pretty nice piece of literature that they produced and sent out, and I'm sure it cost some money too. Over to you, Dustin. KD8 EPC 8888CS.
All right,
okay,
thank you there,
I got mine in the mail
I
too
didn't name
today.
my shotgun that, but I had a truck that I called Old Betsy. It was a old Dodge Dakota, first generation, bare bones model, stick shift. It was terrible. It was a death trap, but that thing drove me all around the world. So there you go with that. Yeah, the ARRL likes spending money sending out worthless literature, in my opinion. Oh man. They send all kinds of stuff in the mail, or they used to anyhow, before I joined. So there's the story with that. I'm going to have to try to wake up early tomorrow, though, so I can get Nick in the morning and get the trifecta tomorrow. I know a lot of the guys talk about that. They hit the barometer net early in the morning. They hit the boredom breaker net in the middle of the day, and then they hit the beacon net in the evening for the trifecta. So we'll have to try to do that if we don't end up staying up too late this evening. Over to you, Nick, KD8 EPC to KD8 SLG.
Speaking of net hopping, KC8FQV was talking in there at the same time as you, Dustin. Mark, KC8FQV, go ahead.
Hey, Nick, how are you? Yeah, I got my piece from Scott Yanley today, too. I didn't read it yet, when I got the mail. I was busy doing stuff. Matter of fact, the mail's still sitting in the car. It didn't go in yet. We were trimming trees. The trees are encroaching into the driveway. They have a different thing. So, yeah, I'm going to go blow the driveway and then go in. Got fuel. So, we'll send it all around the table here, KCFQV.
All right, I'll pick it up. Yeah, Dustin, that piece was not sent out by the ARRL, though. That's campaign literature, and I'm sure the ARRL is not sponsoring Scott. So that was something him and his campaign probably put together. So. And again, if you look at that, it's really really well done, glossy on both sides, and I mean it's nice. It's a nice piece of literature. I think there are a number of hands that just have they have an issue with the ARRL, and I don't even know where it necessarily comes from, but I mean, it's a political organization. I mean, obviously, and you're never going to please everybody. The problem is, in my mind anyway, is that people who are attack the ARRL. Well, what do you have to offer? I mean, what's are you going to do spectrum defense? Are you going to deal with the FCC? Are you going to lobby Washington and do all those things that, quite honestly, need to happen, or we won't have ham radio? At least that's my opinion. All right, Dustin, take it away. This is AA8CS.
Very good there, Gary. I didn't realize it was a personal campaign flyer there, so that's pretty cool. See, I don't have any problem with the ARRL, but I gotta say, there was a time where I wasn't a member for a while, and it was relentless. It seemed like once a week I was getting a letter from them saying, hey, join again, hey, join again, hey, join again, and it's like, man, how much money are you going to spend sending me a letter in the mail asking me to join again before you give up there? So, I mean, the ARRL does great things. I have no problem with it whatsoever, but I do get annoyed getting all that junk in my mail, so that's my story with that. But, gentlemen, go ahead and carry on. My phone's over here buzzing. I'm going to skip a couple of rounds. KD8EPC to KD8SLG.
KD8SLG returning. Answer your phone, Dustin. Scott's our guy. So, you know, even if he was like Edward G. Robinson, cigar out the corner of his mouth going, rah, 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 this political machine is ours. He's our guy, so there you go. That's what I'm saying here. Scott's all right. I didn't get that. I didn't get the mail yet, so I didn't get the actual one. I saw what was in the text messages there, Gary. It looks like a nicely put together piece of campaigning for sure. KC8FQV, you still in there with us, Mark?
Yeah, I'm listening along and I'm blowing the driveway, but yeah, I didn't read it yet. I haven't read any mail yet today. I went out and was trimming trees out of the hillside at the lake. They were deciding they wanted to encroach. Well, got rid of some of them, but I think it's a thorn bush or something down there may be what's doing the encroachment. But it's going to go too. So, but it was a hot one today, and Nick, hopefully everything went good for you this afternoon at the rehab, KCFQV.
KC8 FQV in the group, AA8CS. All right. Well, Scott's definitely our guy. That's for sure. I can't think of anyone more sincere about ham radio than Scott Yonley. I just can't. And maybe I'm just blinded by the by loyalty or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, Scott's done just fabulous stuff for us, for our club, and I mean, I don't know. I think he's a good one, and I think we need to keep him. That's for sure. And honestly, do you want to elect someone who maybe they're not the advocate? They need, you want to elect someone that's going to advocate for you or for, your perspective or your club or, Anyway, I don't know. I disdain the political side of all of this. I really do. I just, it's a hobby, but it needs to be protected, that's for sure. Back to you, Nick, and we'll stand by for a second, see if Dustin's off the phone.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, well, the politics is just one of those. It's a necessary evil for pretty much everything or anything, and anyone who doesn't have anyone representing them is going to get the sloppy end of the stick. That's for sure. So, yeah, it's good to have someone in, and Scott's in our corner. all the way around. So there's that. So Mark, yeah, the millennial and scrubs today really beat on me, but I'm making leaps and bounds in, as far as what I can and cannot do. So I'm happy with that. And Gary, did you watch any college football this weekend? Over to you, Mark.
I hold it. All right. Yeah, not much else here happening. Well, it's good that they tried today, seeing how well it went the other day for you. So, not much else here. So, then, I just gotta get rid of the grass that's on the driveway, because it likes growing. So, we don't need it to grow in the driveway. So, we'll send it around the table over to Nick Justin. He's out. Or who else is in there? I know Gary's in there. So, KSFQE.
All right, Mark. I think you were mobile. It sounds like somebody's shooting at you. But anyway, hear you well, that's for sure. Nick, did I watch college football this? Oh man, did I not watch college football? There were some really, really good games. Of course, my focus, Ohio State. They were kind of lukewarm. It was not a stellar performance. They were playing Indiana, and Indiana has had a moment or two of brilliance, especially a couple years ago. But anyway, Ohio State was expected to win. They were expected to win big, and they did not. But they won, and at this stage of the game, that's the only thing that's important. But there were some really, really good games. Last night, as a matter of fact, Duke beat Clemson. Clemson was ranked 9th in the country. Of course, early rankings like this don't mean a whole lot. But I don't remember the exact stats on that, but this is the Duke beat Clemson last night, and it was the first time in, I think, something like 33 years, 34 years, 37 years, something like that, since Duke beat a top 10 ranked team. And so, I mean, Duke's got a heck of a basketball program, but they've never been known for football. But wow, they really, and there's a story behind that too. I won't go into it, but they put it together last night, and not only beat them, but I mean they beat them. They kicked their butt, to be honest with you. That was a good game. And then Colorado, holy cow, beat TCU. That's Deion Sanders. He's the coach, and his son is the quarterback. And man, they rolled. And that's another story that we'll have to keep an eyeball on. Anyway, yeah, I watched some college football. Certainly did. Over to you, Nick. AAHCS.
Well, proliferate Penn State fan that I am. Shut up, phone. Penn State had a good opener against West Virginia, and that was fun because, 107,000 people in State College at a football game, and it was basically a whiteout with a couple of black stripes that looked pretty cool from the air. And Penn State had to win because they've won most of them forever, and this is the first time they've met in a while. So and it was a fun game. The kids from Medina, Drew Aller, the quarterback, and he was pretty impressive. Of course, he got a bunch of time in last year because that's Penn State football. I mean, they played second string quarterback Saturday, even though it wasn't like a blowout or anything. It was just nothing can change in this set of downs. Let's give this some guy some reps so that he can play. Yeah, man. Nothing's better than Clemson losing their opening game. That just changes everything for the next 6 or 7 weeks as far as rankings go for some reason. But same with TCU. That's wonderful. Katie at SLG. Still there, Mark?
I'm not Mark, but I'm back. KD80PC.
Oh, God. Look what the cat drug in. All right, Dustin, good to hear you again. I hope everything worked out with your phone call. Let's see. I'm kind of prone. I do like West Virginia, but I was born in West Virginia. Actually went to school in southern West Virginia at a little place called Concord College. Played football there, as a matter of fact. Small school. When I was there was just south of 1,900 students in that school. But it was nice. I loved the small college experience, and unfortunately for me, my motivation back then was to play football. Wasn't necessarily to go to college, but I ended up doing both. So I guess that's a good thing. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So a guy I taught with at Wadsworth, his son was a defensive end for Penn State, Bobby Jones. And he ended up, he was drafted by the New York Giants, so good football player. As a matter of fact, Ron Jones had three sons. His oldest played football at, I'm trying to think where he went to. And I can't remember. But the middle son went to played football as well, and then Bobby was the star. Evidently, he's the one that went on and played in the NFL. That's all I got. Dustin, take it away.
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, I'm not much of a college football watcher myself. I do like to watch Ohio State occasionally, but I will tell you this. Every place in Medina pretty much is having Penn State watch parties now because the quarterback from Medina there, so that's pretty cool there. And Gary, did you go to that small college? Because it's the only college that would let you play football. That's my guess. So over to you, Nick.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I could go to a Penn State watch party in Ohio and not be vilified. Oh, man, I wonder what those places are going to do when the Penn State-Ohio State game rolls around. That's going to get a little Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde-ish for a few people, I'm sure. That's interesting. Oh, Gary, 1,900 students, huh? That's like... I had classes almost that big at Penn State. Nah, I think my biggest class had 400 people in it. It was a movies class. Anyway. So, yeah, it's fall when college football starts. Over to you, Gary.
All right, yeah. AAHCS has returned. I like that phrase. Yeah, sounds good. Dustin, you hit the nail on the head, buddy. Yeah, I, being small, slow, and, well, you know, yeah, Ohio State wasn't recruiting me, and neither was Penn State, and neither was a whole bunch of other small schools, D1 or D2. D3, yeah, D3, yeah. So anyway, I just loved the game. That was it. I just really enjoyed playing the game. And Dustin, you're right. I wasn't that good. Matter of fact, I wasn't very good at all. But I did enjoy the game. So I did what I wanted to do. And I got an education too. So that was always a good thing. Let's see, what else? Anything else? I don't think so. Over to you, Dustin. AA8CS for ID.
All right, KD8EPC here. Well, Gary, it's all about having fun, and that's what really matters. So there you go with that. Never played football myself. Watched a lot of high school football. Funny enough, not for my own school. I went to Medina, but I'd go watch a lot of the Buckeye football games because that's where a majority of my friends went. And as a matter of fact, a couple of times they tried to recruit me because the coaches knew the farmer I worked for, and they'd come out and watch me bale hay, and they were drooling over themselves. But I never was an athlete, never was into it. I preferred to sit at home and play with radios, as a matter of fact. So there you go with that. Geez, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, Nick, as far as when it becomes Ohio State versus Penn State, I can pretty much guarantee they're all going to switch over to Ohio State, or some of the bars in town might end up burning down. And, yeah, we don't want that happening. KD8EPC, over to KD8SLG.
Yeah, we need more rational reasons to burn bars down. Oh, let's not go there. I lettered all 4 years of high school with the football team. I did not miss a single game, home or away. But I was a trainer. I didn't play. But that's okay. I put together lots of bags of ices, and I carried lots of bags of goodies. And every once in a while, I got to give a concussion test to somebody who was looking at me like they didn't recognize who I was. Over to you, Gary.
Wow, that happens to me when I look at you every third Thursday of the month, Nick. No, I wanted to comment on Ohio State and Penn State watch parties. So there was this place in Daytona when we're down there. This year we went early for reasons, but normally we're there during football season. That's part of the thing. We go down there and watch a lot of college football. But so at this one bar that we go to, it's called the Oyster Pub. Penn State has the entire back room for their watch party. And so we had our beer group that goes to Florida is about 7 people. So it is 7 people. So we're down there and we're watching the game, and Penn State and Ohio State's playing. Penn State groups in the room, and so we ventured in there, and quite honestly, we had a ball. We were just bantering back and forth, good-natured, and it was truly a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and part of the reason that we had a lot of fun was that Ohio State beat Penn State. So, but anyway, it really was, and the Penn State fans are, well, they were pretty cool. Anyway, a lot of fun, lots of adult beverages, and oysters. Ooh, it was called the Oyster Pub after all. Back to you, Dustin. Let's see, KD8EPC with KD8SLG. This is AA8CS.
Boy, that's an awful lot of call signs. KD8EPC. That sounds like a good time. I've never been to a party where people are watching both teams, Ohio State and Penn State, but it sounds like you had a good time. But yeah, Nick, if you ever want to come watch a Penn State game, I'll find one of the bars that's having a watch party, and we can arrange that and eat some food and root on your boy there. like I say, I'm not a big college football guy, but every now and again it's fun to go out and watch a sporting event at a bar there. So there you go. I don't know. I'm running out of material, as Uncle Fred would say. So Nick, take it away.
KD80PC, KD8SLG. You're running out of material. Yeah, I'm running out of not sleeping. They really beat me up today, man. The kid's name is Sol. S-O-L. I want to call him Sol, but he said it's Sol. Anyway, yeah, they yanked me around a whole lot today. And yeah, Penn State fans are fun. They're used to drinking heavily and losing big games. So it's a really good combination. They tend not to get all salty and weird like Philadelphia fans. Katie at SLG. Over to you, Gary.
Well, that's Ohio State fans expect Ohio State to win every game, and they expect Ohio State to win big every game. So it doesn't always happen that way, but Ohio State. I got to say, honestly, though, they're just such a fun team. If you think about the playoffs last year, so you had Michigan, TCU, Georgia, and Ohio State. Georgia was 1, Ohio State was 4. They played, and Ohio State came a field goal from winning that game. As a matter of fact, if that kid would have gotten hurt, what's his name, Williams, the receiver, I think that's his name. They probably could have pulled that out. I mean, it was, and a couple players didn't play because they were going to be drafted in the first round and stuff, and that kind of sucks. But anyway, Georgia won that game. They barely escaped. So now enter TCU and Michigan, and TCU just took Michigan and whipped them like a bad dog, which just made my day. I'm really happy when Michigan gets their butt kicked. And then it wasn't even a game between Georgia and TCU. I mean, it was never a game. That game had they played it. That was the final, TCU and Georgia, and it was the event was the fact that there was no event. It was just ridiculous. So Michigan, TCU, they shouldn't even have been in it. Well, I mean, they were in it, of course, but I'm just saying. And now Michigan's ranked second in the preseason stuff now. And they played, I think, who they play this week? Our Lady of the Wayside, I think. Something like that. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But the Big Ten's always fun. The SEC's always fun. The ACC's fun. We'll see what happens with the Pac-12. They're not, man, I'll tell you that I don't think there'll be a Pac-12, or if there is, it's going to be remarkably different. And the Big 12 as well. Oklahoma and Texas leaving for the SEC, so we'll see how all that works out. Anyway, should be fun. Should be fun. Over to you, Dustin. AA8CS.
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, let me start saying there's only one good thing about Michigan, and it certainly isn't their football team, so it's always a good day when they get beat. Oh, boy. I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah. Sorry you got beat up there at your therapy there today, Nick, but I feel your pain. I also got beat up today. I had my first actual physical therapy where we actually did exercises instead of just a consultation, and man, he had me moving in ways I haven't moved in months, when I left there, I thought I was going to die. It was awful, but we go back and do it all again next week, so fun times. KD80PC over to KD8SLG.
Is that your back, Dustin? Is that what you're getting worked on? Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, that's affirmative, Gary. It's got all kinds of things going on with it, and insurance won't do any more until I finish up with 6 weeks of physical therapy.
Roger that. Over to you, Nick.
Oh yeah, man. There were a couple of times today where there were some snap, crackle, and popping noises. It was like listening to Gary stand up from the table at Casa Nuestra. Yeah, that's what it was like. Gregarious Gary. I'm very confused about I stopped trying to keep track of the football divisions a while ago there, Gary. When the Big 10 became the Big 12 and then the Big 16, or I don't know, whatever it's up to now. It all just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. Southeastern Conference has, well, I don't know. Texas and Oklahoma are not southeast to me. I mean, southeast of what? Oregon? Anyway, well, that's all I got. Over to you, Gary.
Oh, yeah, snap is a happy sound. You got to have snap or the clock's not wound. Yeah. I crack and snapple and crackle and all that stuff, too. But you know what? Honestly, despite the fact that I play football, I hurt my knee, but that's the only thing I ever did that I was really hurt. That happened in high school. So, but other than that, and I haven't had any repercussions, at least to this point. Where's my wood here? Let me knock on that. But I haven't. My wife has had both of her knees replaced. All she did was a flag team, and it. I feel pretty fortunate that I haven't had disc colliding or replacement parts or any of that stuff, and I never held onto the rope either. So I feel pretty fortunate. So I better knock on wood again. Jeez Louise, this doesn't sound like something I should be saying, for fear of the aura taking it out on me. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, so Nick, I am glad that you're getting back. Wow, I'll tell you, to lose the whole summer like this with your arm kind of up is not fun, and it was a great summer too. But I think you did okay, and we certainly really enjoyed having you around. One arm bandit. He's you could be. What is that? What was that movie with the one-armed man that? Oh my gosh, that killed the doctor's wife. I forget. Anyway, that just sounds like a great plot. Maybe you could qualify for that. You could be typecast, huh? I'm thinking. Over to you, Dustin.
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, if we've learned one thing, it's that we need to let go of the rope. I've got a herniated disc pushing on my sciatic nerve, and then I've got a compressed and narrowed L1 through L5 vertebrae, and then there's a narrowing in the spinal column where the nerves come out that's also not helping out. So I've been dealing with that for quite a while now, but it's gotten worse over the past several months, so no bueno at all, but I think we're finally working in the right direction, hopefully. Do my daily exercises and see the specialist again, beginning of October, so fingers crossed there. But Yeah, being the one-armed bandit could not be fun. I couldn't imagine not having use of my right arm. That would ruin almost every activity I do. So that's a story with that. But that's life sometimes. All right, Nick, take it away. KD8SLG from KD8PC.
The Fugitive. That's it, Gary. It was The Fugitive. There was a TV show. You may remember the TV show called The Fugitive. That was an old one. And I believe it was actually a radio show before that. But I think the scene that sticks out to me in that is he's about to jump out of that tunnel down into the waterfalls or whatever through the dam. And he tells... Harrison Ford tells him, "I didn't kill my wife," and Tommy Lee Jones looks at him and says, "I don't care." That was the highlight. KD8SLG, A8CS.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that. Now it's coming back a little bit. So they had this TV series, which was really good. I remember my family watched that. I think I was pretty young then, in high school or something like that. And then they came out with the movie, The Fugitive, and I think that was with Harrison Ford, maybe. I'm trying to think. Harrison Ford, I think, was played the doctor, and maybe Tommy Lee Jones was the detective. So yeah, that was the movie was pretty cool too. Great show. Lots of great shows there. So I've been watching Suits on Netflix. When I get a chance, I'm somewhere in the middle of it someplace, and that's an interesting show. You talk about personal dynamics and interactions. Lots of twists and turns and bends and stuff. Pretty interesting show. But that's about it. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but sometimes I'll get involved with a series, and then I can't step away. And Dustin, I'm really shocked. Honestly, that's a messed up back on your end there, buddy. You probably should have played football. You would have fared a whole lot better, I think. Over to you.
Oh, no doubt there, Gary. Maybe playing football would have knocked it one way or another and made it a little bit better. I keep telling myself I need to get one of those medieval torture devices where they hook you up to it and stretch you out. I think that would be most excellent. And as far as TV shows, I've been sitting here all day today since I got home from physical therapy watching Blue Bloods. I know it's an older TV show, but go back and rewatch it all because I think it's a really interesting television show. But with that, gentlemen, I think I'm going to clear out of here. My Taco Bell should be here any minute, and I'm going to eat that and start making my way towards bed. So I'm going to say 73 all the way around. Gary, great to hear you. Nick, great to hear you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you both there tomorrow. This is KD8EPC, turning it over to KD8SLG, and I'll be listening out. 73.
Hey, KSFQV.
Hang on there a second, Mark. Let me sign with Dustin. KD8EPC, have a good night there, buddy. Enjoy your run for the border. And talk to you tomorrow. We do the Boredom Breaker Net thing for sure. KD8SLG. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was just listening to you guys there without putting the tractor away before. You know, we ran it up and down, got rid of the grass, so it can't grow in the driveway. So we got rid of that and put the tractor back in its place in the barn. We'll catch everyone, in the morning. Hopefully, I'll get up a little earlier tomorrow morning. Yeah, I did a good sleep last night. So, we'll catch you guys in the morning, KSFQV. Yeah, a trifecta tomorrow. Or, you could call it the Business Bureau. So, we do all kinds of things. There's a lot of different things that we call different things. Ford is like First Time Race Day, or or another one we can't even say. But let's send it back to either Nick or whomever else is out there still, KSFQV.
Go ahead and pick it up, Nick.
All right, Gary. I thought you were next there. All righty there, Mark. Fix or repair daily. There's one you can say on the radio, Mark. Yeah, I'm winding down there too, Gary. I have to get up and do the ungodly hour thing. So I think I'm going to follow Dustin there, but I don't have Taco Bell being delivered. But, I'm going to say goodnight to you all this time around. So, Gary, good talking to you on the radio there, man. And see if you can get up in time tomorrow to check in. I'll run it till like 8:30 and give you a chance to wake up. How's that sound? This is KD8SLG. Get it clear with KC8FQV and AA8CS. Go ahead, Gary.
All right, Nick. My intentions are honorable, and I do intend on getting up in the morning. Just so I can see how the other half lives. Oh, man. It's just an ungodly time. And most of the time I'm just so tired I just can't do it. But there are certain days like Thursday morning and Friday morning that I do make the ultimate sacrifice. Okay. Well, Nick, good talking to you too. We just kind of singed the airwaves here tonight. But it was fun. It always is fun. I should take more time and spend more time on the radio. But I don't know. The thing is, in the summertime, and this is my excuse, in the summertime, I don't like being down in the basement. The air conditioner, cold air falls, and the air conditioner's on, and it's just freezing cold down here. So like right now I have sweatpants on and a sweatshirt, or else I would be freezing my galloons off, whatever that is. And so that's kind of the way it is. Now in the wintertime I do spend a whole lot more time down here. The basement is a whole lot warmer in the wintertime than it is in the summertime, believe that or not. All right, that's all I have as well. I'm going to maybe, I got a new record album. I'm going to fire that bad boy up and see how the vinyl plays. So with that, I'll say 73 to you, Dustin, and Nick, and Mark. And I'll be listening out here, Mark. You can close her down for us, buddy. Over to you, KC8FQV, AA8CS for your final, Mark. 73. Have a good evening.
All right, Gary. Yep. Hey, I was going to say, how do you do 30 years of getting up so early in the morning to go into that godly place of a job, at the school? And you never could switch because it was just every day. Well, you were lucky. You had only 180 days or 182, and then you had a summer off. But, hey, well, yeah, that was something this fall, and coming back, I said, I don't got to worry about switching from day to night or anything. Yeah, just drive past the building and see the building standing there. So we'll say 73, KSFQV.
W8WKY.